a whole list of places connected. Then he gets a Facebook and goes, and he goes, "Do you want to connect live stream without Facebook?" I'm like, okay, because they suck.
It's so weird. My shirt, it blurs it because it doesn't recognize it. It goes, oh, it recognizes this side. Wait, this side.
Yeah, the other
That
one
side.
side's clear, the other one's blurry.
Right? Let's put it closer. Doesn't care. Look at that.
Wait, go on the other side of the microphone with that shoulder.
Wait, it mirrored to me, so it's weird. Nope, doesn't like that side. Oh, now it's fine. Wait,
now that side's blurry and that side's
fine. They're good, but when you're here,
that's so stupid.
This is a break, is why. Watch. See? As soon as I take it down, this breaks it up.
How stupid.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
All right. Oh, hey, Meister, what's going on? So we know you're there. We aren't going to go so much into the chat till the very end, okay?
Yeah.
So list your questions. We'll check with you at the end, okay, guys? Everybody's saying, "Hey, what's up, brothers?" It's funny because when Jim was on, they're like, "We love Jim. What's up?" Like, you didn't even know Jim. He's an idiot. You love an idiot. No, he's cool.
I didn't know that he was on twice until he told me the other day. I'm like,
yeah,
cool. I thought he'd do it once and just blow it off.
Okay, so before we get into the topic, so I said to Jim, I said, "Let me help you do a podcast, something we can build for the future, right? You can have something to do in retirement." And I'm trying to sell him on it.
He ain't gonna do it.
Hold on a minute, right?
All right.
So he's like, "Nah, I'm not."
Thank you.
It, right? I said, "Okay, no big deal." I've been telling him for 10 years to start something. So he goes on the show and I said, "Hey, your video is probably more watched than any video I've done in 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You're doing really good." It's
what was the title?
Walmart, Tesla.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
So anyway, he did really good. They liked him a lot. It all went well. So I left it alone. And then he asked me, "Hey, when am I going to go on again?"
Well, doing it with you is easy because he just shows up.
Hold on, it gets better. Right. So he goes on again, right? He does. He just shows up, like you said. And his second video is surpassing the first.
Mm-hmm. What was that titled?
Frick, I don't remember. Yeah, Jim Bro and something else.
All right.
I don't remember. Whatever we talked about. But, it was funny because we were getting a little emotional talking about mom, right? Mm-hmm. So that was right when we signed off. But so literally 2 days ago, he wrote me back and goes, because I told him, I said, your second video is blowing up.
Right.
And he said, so he's going to talk to me about doing a podcast.
Of course.
That's how Jim is. No, I don't want to do it. But he tastes a little bit and he's like,
well, yeah, that's like everyone, I think. Right. I think we're all like that. So
well, anyway. No, I can talk my friends in. It's no.
You've never been on a podcast before, and you say, "Hey, you should start your own podcast." You're like, I don't know.
I know. Jim,
what would I talk about?
He tasted it and he liked it.
The problem is coming up with the ideas of what subject to talk about.
Yeah, I'll help him. I'll help him with whatever he wants. But now he wants to
build an audience. Oh, it's a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? If you love it, it ain't a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
If you love it,
you have to love you have to love the process.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't matter if you're successful or not. You enjoyed the path.
And the weirdness is they, like the viewers, people watch, they can tell if you love it or not. Yeah. Or if you're just doing it to pull a paycheck. Yeah. They can tell if you truly have your heart into it. Because like you and I, like we're not moving any freaking mountains, dude. Like senators don't
ain't making any money. We ain't making any money.
Senators
we're not even doing it for that.
The show.
We're not even doing it for that. That's
I know.
Not the reason.
It's so funny. But we're doing it because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
Or, I wouldn't or you wouldn't. I'd be like,
God, no.
screw that.
I have better things to do.
There's 40 other things I want to do.
Yeah.
If this failed, I'd just do that. But anyway, so.
Well, this doesn't fail because we do this whether 2 people show up or no one shows up, right?
Right.
Really, or 1 million people. It wouldn't matter. We would just do this anyway because we want to talk about these things. And we might as well record it and let other people listen because we're having the conversation anyway.
Of failure, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've done projects. I didn't realize how much if you're young, you're going to fail a lot.
Look, here's a problem with failure. Let's talk about failure for a minute. Then we'll go to cars, guns, and alcohol. So people are taught in school to be afraid of failure and to avoid failure because failure is a punishment. And a failure is you do badly on a test and it averages in with the rest of your grade. So you avoid failing. You avoid doing anything that you're going to fail. Plus the other kids point and laugh, stuff like that, right? When you were a child and you were learning to walk, you fell a ton. Mm-hmm. You watch any kid learning to walk. Every fall is a failure. Yet they get up and they try it again. Then they get tired. Then they crawl for a bit. Then the next day they do it again. They get up and they walk and they fall. And eventually they stop falling. Okay. We can only learn and we can only succeed by failing. The more times you fail, the closer you are. That's it.
It's that simple. So you're basically saying every successful person has 100 failures?
Way more failures, way more. Like there's so many failures. There's so many failures. And anything that you've learned, as you get older and older, you just expect, oh, I'm an adult. I should be able to be better at this. Remember I told you about me doing music, right? I'm like, I'm like what, 58 years old when I first started, like, I want to write my own music. So I started writing music at 58, 59, somewhere around there. And so here I am writing music, and you would listen to my first pieces of music and you would be like, yeah, keep your day job, right? That's the shit that I would hear. If I didn't play my first piece of music for anybody. I threw that shit out. It's so bad. But if a 10-year-old, right, made a little piece of music, exactly the same music I make,
the same piece of crap,
the same crappy music, and played it for people, they'd be like, that's great, Johnny. You should keep it up. Right? But if you're a 58-year-old man, they're like, keep your day job. Yeah, I can see why you didn't ever become a musician. Like, people are harsh, not only on others, but themselves because you're an adult. But you have to give yourself time to be in kindergarten, right?
Right.
You're gonna suck, right? And that's okay. Because you just keep sucking and you suck less each time. Eventually you won't suck anymore. You won't be great, but you won't suck.
Now the live chat's going off because you're talking about sucking.
All right. So let's get to the subject.
What? Okay. I know I wrote this down.
Right.
I know we scheduled. I don't even remember.
Weeks ago we wrote this.
Right.
So this is, okay. So cars, guns, and alcohol, they are things that you encounter as an adult and you interact with as an adult, or can interact with. You don't have to. And we treat them in society very differently. Very differently. Guns are considered to be like the most dangerous of all. Alcohol, probably next. And cars, the least dangerous. Okay.
So we're talking about danger of all three?
Yeah. And how we deal with them in society. Okay. So for you to get a gun, right? To buy a gun, you have to
climb Mount Rushmore.
Pretty much, especially
if you're in California.
Especially if you're in a blue state, right? It's just the worst. It's the worst experience you can
imagine. But all the criminals have like
a No. If you're a criminal, you can get it like in 5 minutes, go down the street.
At a vending machine.
Talk to Guido. He'll take care of you. He'll hand you a gun out of a brown paper bag. You got your gun like that. No background checks necessary. Just like pirating. Do you remember when pirating movies was easier to do than it was to rent them? Do you remember that problem? When you pirate.
I was doing it. I know.
Right. So the criminals always have it easier than the law-abiding citizens, always. But anyway, I digress. To get a car, To buy a car, you could buy a car and drive it off the lot same day. Okay. Now, lots of places in the country you can buy a gun and leave the same day with it. Okay. But lots of areas of the country, that is not true. In fact, the most populous areas of the country, so the majority of the people in the US cannot do that. If you're over 21, you said to prove you're over 21, you can go get alcohol. You can get alcohol right there in the liquor store, crack that puppy open, start drinking it, right? Bingo, right there. So I thought it would be interesting to look at the statistics of deaths. Okay. So I asked ChatGPT, I got statistics based on 2023 information.
You already did this?
Yeah. So here it is. So
in the bathroom, did you do this?
No, dude, I'm on my computer right now. I didn't drag this computer to the bathroom.
Oh, I thought you've done this like last week.
No, I just did it before while I was waiting for you to get out of the bathroom.
Okay.
All right. So number one leading cause of all deaths, take a guess. What do you think it is?
Drunk driving.
Not limited to guns, cars, and alcohol.
Oh, spousal abuse?
What?
I don't know.
Come on, think a little harder, just for a minute. Okay.
Drugs.
That's not a bad guess. No. Heart disease. 680,000 deaths every year because of what people eat for food. Okay? Keep that in mind.
Okay.
Next. What's the next one?
The next one is the second leading cause of drugs. I still would go drugs.
No. Someone dies, they're 42. What do you think they died of? Just a normal person every day, not a rock and roller. What'd they die of? They didn't die of a heart attack. Huh?
Murder.
No, you're not thinking. Some person dies. You go,
well, I'd say heart disease, but we already covered that.
Right. But what other disease is there that kills people?
Diabetes?
No.
Cancer.
Yes.
Oh, duh.
Jesus. I can't believe you were like dancing all around it.
Sorry, I didn't spend the time in the bathroom thinking about death.
So if heart disease is 680,000, cancer is only 613,000. I mean, it's like a close second. So heart disease and cancer, which are both caused by lifestyle choices,
right?
Okay, by the bad foods that we eat. Those two things.
What's the third?
Which is 1.2. Unintentional injury includes overdoses and MVAs. I don't know what MVAs are.
What are MVAs?
Anyway,
hold on.
I have no idea. Anyway,
hold on. What are NVAs?
M as in Mary, dude.
Here's some info about People's Army of Vietnam.
No, they're gonna.
What are MVAs?
Here's an answer from thefreedictionary.com and
other
websites.
Right. Motor vehicle accidents.
Oh, goddamn, that's good. All right, cool. So, so car crashes and overdoses are all kind of clumped into that number. I'll go down into the detail numbers in a minute. All right, the fourth. So notice they combined those. They combined drug overdoses, another lifestyle choice, with motor vehicle accidents, which are behavioral, right? Not necessarily a choice.
Okay.
Could be. Like you could get hit by someone else can harm you with an MVA, right?
Right.
But overdoses. So those two numbers, if you split them up, that wouldn't even be in the list, if you ask me. So I don't even count that in the list because it's two combined. So heart disease is number one. Cancer is number two. Stroke, dude. Another lifestyle choice is number three. Yeah, exactly. What's four?
Yeah. Stroke. Right?
Okay.
Stroke me.
So chronic respiratory disease is next, primarily COPD. And I forget what that stands for, but I know that.
No, it's that breathing thing, right?
Yeah.
Otis has that, right?
Yeah, he has that. Yeah. Okay, you ready? Then, so far, everything has been lifestyle. I don't know about chronic respiratory disease. Some of that is probably lifestyle, some of it not. But
wait,
the next
let me stop you on COPD real quick. Just one second. Otis says it's because of Agent Orange.
Okay, I don't want to go there, dude. I don't want to go there.
Okay,
I don't want to go there
because I'm like,
I would say it too if I could get paid by the VA.
But it's smoking, right?
I don't know.
Lifestyle.
I honestly don't know. I haven't done.
I think it's more of a lifestyle.
I would say that it probably is too. But anyway, let's keep going.
All right,
So
go
the
ahead.
next one is definitely a lifestyle. Alcohol. Alcohol kills 178,000 people or killed around that in 2023. Okay. So the next one, drug overdoses or poisoning, as they call it here, strangely enough, is 105. Okay. Now, motor vehicle crashes is 43,000. So if you take that 43,000 from the unintentional injuries, it's still on the list. But
right.
Okay, now we are finally getting to firearm related deaths. Okay. 46,000 firearm deaths. Okay. I mean, it's pills and absolute.
Does that include murder?
No. It includes suicides and homicides, and suicides account for about 60 to 65% of all gun deaths.
They include all crimes. I love that.
Everything. They include it all. Okay. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. And then there's just general suicides, which is 49,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, general takeaways. Overdose and alcohol-related deaths remain major contributors to preventable mortality. Firearm fatalities mirror motor vehicle deaths. Okay. However, they didn't mention in this statistic that 60 to 65% are suicides. So, heart disease and cancer are the top killers. So, anyway, so the point is if you look at all the things that kill us, right? We freak out over guns the most as a society. A gun is like, oh my God, oh my God. No one worries when you take a drink of alcohol. No one goes, oh my God, you're going to kill yourself, right? But if I have a gun on my side, right, I'm carrying.
Ooh, that's good.
And, right, I'm carrying a gun and I happen to reach up and my shirt comes up a little bit and the handle of the gun shows and someone can see I have a gun, they'd freak out to death. Okay. I get in my car and I drive away from the store, right? No one freaks out. Oh my God, he's in a car. He's going to probably get in an accident, kill people or kill himself. No one thinks about any of that
That's
shit.
a great point.
No one, but everybody freaks out if you have a gun.
What number is guns again? How far down? 9?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9th. It was 9th on the list. But if you take suicides out, it's not even on the list. If you take the suicides using a gun, because they count that in there. Why do they count that in there? Because the people who count it are the people who are trying to get the guns away from you. They want you to not have guns.
Wait, gun-related suicides is not in suicides; it's in guns.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's in suicides. Honestly, I don't.
I was going to knock myself.
Yeah, I don't know. They may be counted. They may be double counted in those two categories.
Right.
So it's hard to tell.
Okay.
But the thing is if we look, and just in general, right? How many? Like we worry so much about our children. Another thing, right? You worry your kid, oh, something's going to happen. They're going to get abducted by some free candy van coming through the neighborhood or something. And we just don't look at the real statistics and the likelihood of these things. And this is sort of the point of this, is that it's frustrating as a gun owner and someone who has a permit to carry in, I don't know, 30, 40 states, how people treat guns so differently than they treat like cars or alcohol, things that kill far more people.
Did you know Jim was not anti-gun?
Who, our brother?
Yeah.
No, I think he was, but he's become less so.
He said since Arkansas.
Yes.
Since he lived there.
Yes.
And I'm like, well.
And that's the real problem. So, okay, let's look at that. That's a really great point. So let's look at why we worry about what we worry about. Okay. So, people around guns, like when we grew up around guns, right? We didn't have them all the time or lots or whatever, but we grew up around guns. My daughter never grew up around a gun. You know, I didn't have a gun until after she moved out. So
did she have one?
She has one now. Yeah.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah. She might have had one before I did. So I don't know. I can't remember.
All right, you don't have to admit that, dude. That's kind of embarrassing.
Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't bother me. So anyway, the subsequent generations, right? Fewer and fewer are having any interaction with a gun. Okay, number one. Number two, people who move to the cities don't have the guns, right? They're the ones who vote for gun control. Why? Because they have all the crime in the cities, right?
Because they ain't got the guns.
They don't have fucking guns. If you fucking had guns, if everybody down my block had a gun, guess what's not going to happen on our block? No one's breaking into these houses. Okay?
Not a lot of churches are being shut up right now.
No, because everyone's packing.
Then you'd be Swiss cheese.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. You're not going to make it out alive. Let's just say that.
And then that goes into the suicide mark.
Death by church.
Exactly. I'm going to see God right now.
Right. So I think that Jim moving to Arkansas, he was around people who had guns and he saw they're not dangerous. They're no more dangerous than the knife in your kitchen. Like I have a knife block. I have all these knives in there, right? Right. I just leave them there. I leave them out. I don't put them in a safe where my thumbprint has to open it. Why? Because no one's going to go up to the knife, pull the knife and start swinging it around. Why? Because we see it as a tool. We see it differently. But, oh no, I got to lock my gun up in a safe because it's got to be safe. We wouldn't want someone to, right? Now, granted, we do put the knives up on the counter. So little kids can't get to it, right? So I wouldn't mind having a gun open, not in a safe,
out of reach,
up high, out of reach from smaller children. Yeah, but you don't put your knives away when your kids are 8 or 9. In fact, you give them a knife so they can cut their food.
Wait, let me tell you something even stupider. So my friend, he went to jail for murdering somebody. Okay, a guy I know. We're not really like close friends.
Sure,
but literally, he slit her throat with a knife. He's not allowed to carry a gun, but he can carry as many freaking knives as he wants.
No
lie.
My God, that's the dumbest thing ever.
I'm like, oh yeah, keep that gun out of his hand because they'll kill somebody.
Because he's deadly with a knife.
It was so stupid. I'm like, really?
Right. But look. So people worry about the things that they think they can control. Oh, we won't let people have guns and no one will die. Look, let me go back to the list. Let me pop that list up again. Heart disease, cancer, overdoses and accidents in cars, stroke, alcohol,
so should we do fast food control?
Like all of this shit, all of it. The top 7 things you have 100% control over, except for a car crashing into you, right? Other than that, you have total control over. Don't do drugs, don't do alcohol, eat properly, exercise. That's it. That's all you have to do. But when it comes to personal responsibility, nobody wants to take personal responsibility. Everybody else wants big brother government to tell that guy down the street how he has to act so that I feel safe. Meanwhile, you're pounding cake for breakfast and you're pumping,
calling it coffee cake.
Right. So it's insane. It's insane how we deal with, like, look at COVID. Okay. Let's look at COVID. Right? Let me look at the COVID numbers. So COVID-19 dropped to the 10th leading cause in 2023 of only 49,000 deaths, down drastically from its peak at 416,000. Now, 416,000, if you put it on this list, is under heart disease and cancer. Okay? Under both of those.
Wow.
Right. And we freaked out. We closed, businesses went out of business. Right? We put people in their homes and told them don't come out. We forced people to wear masks, but heart disease and cancer, no problem.
But we didn't tell the fast food industry to do anything.
No.
We left them alone.
Nope. We left them alone.
We filled our face while we were locked in our houses with fast food.
Processed food. It's not just, we always like to blame the fast food industry. It's not just that. It's the food industry as a whole. I literally can walk down nearly any aisle, any of the middle aisles, and it'll be nearly impossible to find something that isn't processed and isn't unhealthy. Like if you only shop on the outside of the store and that's all you bought from, This is the outside of the store, the outer edges of the store. You would be healthier than 98% of the people in the country.
Well, you got your produce, you got your dairy, you got your meat.
Yep.
You got your natural foods.
You have real food.
Yeah.
Everything in the middle is bullshit. Everything is bullshit. Okay. So anyway, this started off as a gun thing for me because people are just idiots when it comes to guns. They don't know how they work. They've never seen them. They've never touched them. They don't understand the gun community. Okay. I was ignorant to the gun community before I became part of it. I was worried when I went into this that safety was not important enough. And holy shit, safety is like the number one thing you meet. Like when they first show you a gun, it's all they talk about is safety. Everyone. If you do anything wrong we have fake guns and we're training, right? If you accidentally turn and flag people, they'll give you shit for it. Whoa, you're just flagging me. Dude, point that muzzle down because you want to keep good habits. You know, when you're doing certain exercises and you go from position 4 to position 5 where you like punch out to shoot the target, they'll tell you, here's the order of fire is you're going to shoot the target, then you're going to come back to 4, and then you're going to push out again and shoot the next target. They'll tell you as you pull back from 5 to 4, take your finger off the trigger. They'll give you shit for that because the instructor's watching down the line.
Right.
And if you don't take your finger off the trigger, they're going to be on your ass about it.
Okay.
It's all about safety. People
how long
don't
you been going?
understand. People don't understand about guns and the community of people who are around guns because they see shit on TV, dude. They see all the stupid Hollywood shit.
How long you been training in safety classes?
I don't know, 2.5 years, over 2 years.
2.5, guys. 2.5 years every week.
2.5 hours every week.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah, and I see the same people there, dude. I see the same people there.
You know what? Talk about that.
And then I go once a month. I go to scenarios because I carry. So I up my my membership so that I could train on that. So you do things like, hey, you're walking up to an ATM and this whole thing goes down. You have video in front of you, and then you have to react a certain way. I do that once a month, and then once a month I go to the range. And nobody.
I guarantee nobody watching. I promise. I would bet on it.
Well, and then I wouldn't, you'd be surprised, but most people who have a gun, okay, when was the last time you were trained? You did any training? Yeah.
Yeah. The day I took the test. That was
right.
it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I had to
qualify. What did I do wrong?
I had to qualify, but here's the thing. Okay. I'm all for training, but I don't think that people should be totally mandated for training. Okay. I think that's a problem because it's a slippery slope to where the government wants to take your guns away, right? So it's a slippery slope for people who want to take your guns away. But so my thing is this: you should train, and you should train all the time. But the minute you want to carry, right? If you're going to carry out in public, you owe yourself as well as the public that training. Number one, and number two, you're at least in California. In many states, you need to have insurance, self-defense insurance. If something goes horribly wrong, you want to make sure that you have defense insurance. You can afford to defend yourself.
I just want to highlight a few questions that are related to what you're talking about.
Questions or comments?
Sumo Boy, I'm sorry, comments, not questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Sumo Boy says, my kids will be allowed knives and guns as long as they keep their hearts in tip-top shape. Now, I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean food-wise, or does that mean...
No. I think he means like, I think he means that you're not...
The goodness?
Goodness.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that responsibility, being responsible, is the most important thing for the kid. That you understand that this is not a toy. You don't mess with this. You and they train with plastic, right?
Right.
Before I went out and carried a gun, I wore my holster with a plastic gun in it. Okay?
Really?
Yeah, I have a plastic Glock 17 for training, and I put it in, and I just wanted
Where
to
was
see,
that when we were kids?
I know, right? I wanted to see how I felt. Did anyone notice it? No one notices. No one looks at you. It's so weird. So being able to train with training materials is super important, especially as for kids, because then if you make a mistake, which a kid's going to do, then no harm.
So Paulin brought up a good comment. So true. If kids can use knives, they should be able to use guns.
Thank you.
Yes, but they should also be trained in safety. It all comes back to that.
Yep.
No matter what age you are.
Right. The thing about a gun and a knife is very different, right? You have to be near someone with a knife, and a gun you can pull the trigger pretty easily and accidentally, if you don't know how to hold it, and can go off through your neighbor's house. So that there's a little bit difference there. But
so Janet said you must be wealthy because you own a whole block of knives.
All 10 of them.
Janet, I own a whole block of knives. I'm not wealthy. Not even close.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, literally, if a knife can kill somebody and you train your kids.
Right. You also, you don't worry about them grabbing the knife part either. Right. You don't think about that. You don't, you just don't tell, your kid's not going to like point at themselves. If you don't train them properly, the way you train them with knives, they were going to make a mistake.
I've heard you make this comment.
Yes, that's so true.
Yep. What, the food industry?
Yep. Yeah.
So basically, Michael Caine's saying that the smoking industry shifted over to the food industry.
Yes, 100%. In the 80s, late 80s and early 90s, R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris
right,
bought out all the food companies. Think about it. They know how to make things addictive, right? And right? And they thought, well, wait a minute, they're making tobacco illegal. You can't make food illegal. We'll go over there. We'll turn all the things we learned in making tobacco more addictive, which they did. They added things to make, and they manipulated crops to do that.
People have admitted that.
Right. And we'll go over here in the food industry because they can't make that illegal.
Okay. So I got to tell you, you know how I think they've passed a law. I don't know if it's in effect yet, where you can't do medical commercials anymore on medicine.
Wait.
On TV.
When did that law get passed?
The RFK is working on it. I don't know.
He's working on it. He hasn't passed it.
Right. But the medical industry believes it's going to pass.
It's only a matter of time, dude. It is only a matter of time.
I'm sitting in the movie theater.
I'm so happy.
I'm sitting in the movie theater and I watch 2 medical commercials before the movie.
Well, wait. You don't know if they're going to eliminate all advertising. They might eliminate all advertising. So I don't think it's like shifting now because you can't do it on TV.
Right.
I think they're going to eliminate all advertising, just like you don't advertise cigarettes. They're going to eliminate, you don't advertise medicine, drugs, effectively. You don't advertise it.
Yeah, that's true. Oh no, a lot of evil stuff's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
A lot of evil stuff.
It's all about money. No one cares. They're not like saying, oh, what can we come up with that's really bad? No, they go, oh, look, people don't, once they get hooked on this product, food, alcohol, drugs, they can't not buy it. It's all greed.
True. Okay, Paulin said that the bakery is on the outside of the store. There's always somebody to find that 1 in a million thing that's on the outside of the store that isn't healthy. So he's saying, I guess donuts are
the bakery. Yeah.
That's only because you can't do a bakery in the middle. You can't. You need
the back. You're right.
You have to be on the side.
Sounds like donuts are allowed. That's hilarious.
Sometimes I'm serious. Sometimes they make me laugh. They start Sumo Boy writes. Here, let me show you. He writes, "Don't be treading on my Taco Bell."
Yeah. Listen, that's shit. Food, dude. I've eaten Taco Bell. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've eaten Taco Bell.
That is the most addictive dog food I've ever had.
It's the worst. Yeah,
but it's so good.
Tastes so damn good.
It was so good.
See, that's the mistake. When we go back to when we talked about food, like many, many moons ago, the mistake is that food is fuel. It's not fun.
Right.
It shouldn't be fun. I mean, it shouldn't be painful, but it shouldn't be fun. And we've turned food into fun.
Okay, so here's a quick question. and then we're not gonna last much longer. We've been going almost an hour.
All right.
If you could go back to you're unwrapping your first computer. You're a little kid still, right?
I'm not a little kid when I got my first
Well,
computer. I was 17.
Dude, that's a freaking kid now.
I wasn't little, but
Okay.
go ahead.
What would you tell your 17-year-old self?
A million things, dude.
You have learned so much.
Yeah, a billion things.
So what is
Everything
the
you
one-
think you know, I would tell myself, everything you think you know is wrong, is mostly wrong. And why? Because you didn't come up with those rules in your head by experiencing life. Other people inserted them into your head,
Right.
through your parent who told you wrong things. No one was maliciously doing this. Your teachers who told you wrong things. So you and the man on TV, that's on purpose, who told you in advertising that breakfast was the most important meal of the day.
I know we're signing off, but somebody reminded me I forgot the logo.
Oh shit!
Okay, so we're gonna slam it in really quick.
Here it is.
Yeah. So there is a reason for live chat. But anyway, all right. Now I know why we wrote down in the notes. Cars, guns, and alcohol makes sense. That was very interesting.
But here's the thing: the main takeaway from this, I think, is there are two main takeaways, right? That how we should teach our kids, I think, to deal with guns and how to view guns in the same way we view motor vehicles, and the same way we view knives in the home, all of those things. And the second thing is that leading causes of death, right? The things you worry about dying from, the biggest probability you have the most control over, and most people aren't doing a damn thing about it.
That's awesome. And you know what's funny? The kids who gets hold of daddy's gun and does something stupid is the kid that wasn't trained in any safety, wasn't talked to about guns, wasn't
No, of course
nothing.
Of course not.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So you could list it. You could list it that way too.
Yep.
All right, let me let you go.
All right,
That
man.
was awesome, dude.
Thanks, man.
That was really good.
Fun.
All right, we will talk again next week?
Yep, next week. I don't know about what, but we'll pick something.
All right. And
We have a whole week.
everybody in the chat, thank you. Love you guys. I always appreciate spending time with you. But we will see you next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.